Now, while accepting a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Golden Globes last night, Meryl Streep, she went after, even though she didn't name him, well, you know the guy.
There was one performance this year that stunned me. It sank its hooks in my heart. Not because it was good. There was nothing good about it. But it was effective and it did its job. It was that moment when the person asking to sit in the most respected seat in our country imitated a disabled reporter, someone he outranked in privilege, power, and the capacity to fight back. This instinct to humiliate, when it's modeled by someone in the public platform, by someone powerful, it filters down into everybody's life because it kind of gives permission for other people to do the same thing.
Well, you know who she's talking about, and you can also imagine that he did not, let's say, bite his lip on this one. This is how our president-elect responded, of course, via tweet. Meryl Streep, one of the most overrated actresses in Hollywood, doesn't know me, but attacked last night at the Golden Globes. She's a Hillary flunky who lost big for the 100th time. I never mocked a disabled reporter. Okay. Now, if you don't remember this, we did talk about this during the campaign, but I grant you a lot of stuff happened in the last year. What they're all referring to is a New York Times reporter who has a chronic condition in his joints. Here is Donald Trump talking about said reporter on the campaign trail.
You got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Oh, maybe that's what I said.
I think it's pretty safe to say he was mocking him. From my end, Jeannie, when I heard her saying this and I watched it live last night, I said, all right, Trump's going to respond. But calling Meryl Streep overrated, somebody was like, is calling Michael Jordan a crummy basketball player. And then choosing to bring up the point about the disabled reporter saying he never did it. Again, every morning show in the country played the clip that we just showed that said, yes, you did. Again, questioning the truthfulness of what he said. What do you think about what she said last night and then also Trump's response?
It does bring back that very, very ugly moment from the campaign that, you know, it's so many things happened during the campaign. You almost forgot about that until last night. So, you know, does she have a right to bring it up? Yes. But I also think to a certain extent that this plays into Donald Trump's hands and the hands of many of his supporters, because this is precisely what makes so many people who voted for Donald Trump feel alienated from Hollywood and from D.C. in the way that these things are situated. It would be far more effective, her message is right, but I think it would be far more effective coming from someone else. So does she have a right to say it? Yes. But while they're sitting there accepting these awards, making millions and millions of dollars, eating and drinking and slapping themselves on the back with congratulations, all of which may be well deserved, these political statements ring hollow to people who are sitting in other parts of the country in a very different situation. So I'm not sure it's incredibly effective. And I think all Donald Trump had to say was, you know, leave out the fact that she's overrated because she's a great actress, and leave out the fact he didn't say it, and just say once again, and somebody else from Hollywood, somebody else rich, somebody else who's a Hillary Clinton supporter, trying to tell you how you should think. And that would have been enough. And of course he's going to come back because he always comes back on Twitter.
You agree?
I do agree, but I think that she should have done it in a different forum. She could have held her own press conference. I don't think it was appropriate at the Golden Globes. But as to what she said, that's really important. Donald Trump has called the minority leader of the Senate, Chuck Schumer, a clown. He made fun of this reporter. He spoke of Meryl Streep as overrated. Name calling abounds with Donald Trump. Do we want our children to model themselves after a name caller, especially if he is the president-elect of the United States? He needs to get his act together. Somebody needs to sit him down and say, presidents do not call people names, let alone get up at 3 or 4 in the morning just to respond to the tweet of an actor or an actress. The other thing is that I don't think he yet understands the role of president and how powerful the words of a president are. They can start wars, they can move stock markets, and they can influence, as Meryl Streep said, although she should have done it, I agree, in another form, they influence the way young people will talk about public matters, and it just cheapens and coarsens our society.
And for me, again, I agree with you guys. I was watching it and I was like, oh God, I can just see the headline of the Post now. And of course they went with some version of wine in there about Meryl Streep. But when I saw how Trump responded, and this is like the 50th iteration we've seen of this, anybody who thought the campaign Trump isn't going to be the President Trump is so delusional. And Andrew, maybe that's the best way I can articulate it. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. In the last 35 years, I can't think of a president of either political party, whether you like George Bush, son or a father, whether you hated Bill Clinton or liked Bill Clinton, people believed that the honor of sitting in the Oval Office and representing not only the country but the free world, that you weren't going to profit from in some tacky way to make a few extra bucks doing it while you were the president. That was a position of honor, and you held it up as a representative of it. Now, did some of them have scandals? Did some of them act poorly? But I don't even think Richard Nixon thought of it as just a place where you can do shtick and like call people things and whatever else. I was hoping for more last night. And if he for once took the high road, he would shock people, and that would have been the worst comeback or a smack to Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep says, you know what, she's a great actress. I really, wish that she focused on, being recognized for her work rather than making it all about me, but that's how she chooses to use her moment, and then move on.
It's funny, I was going back through recent presidents and trying to figure out what comparisons or what, parallels we can draw from it. Nixon tarnished the presidency and the image of the presidency, but he did so mostly in private. It wasn't until some of those sins came to public light that the public really got a sense of how much he was tarnishing the office, and people's impression of the importance of the office went down. And they felt worse about their country and about their government. Trump's doing it very matter-of-factly and in everybody's face. And it works better on the campaign trail where it's somebody who speaks more like we do and acts more like we do. But I think the shtick is, and again, I've been saying this for a year and a half, but I can't imagine the shtick is going to hold up for that long while he's in office if he continues to do this.
Because we're used to people understanding, I think, right, that no matter what, nobody's bigger than the office of the presidency. That first time in my lifetime, he clearly thinks we have a person who thinks they're bigger than the office and wants to make everybody know this is small potatoes. I will take a bet with anybody at this table that he will somehow, some way mock the furnishings of the White House when he's there, saying I'm used to better digs than this. All right, I want to just play really quickly a clip, Jeannie, that Kellyanne Conway had to say when people again pressed her on, do you believe what your boss said? Take a listen.
You can't give him the benefit of the doubt on this, and he's telling you what was in his heart. You always want to go by what's come out of his mouth rather than look at what's in his heart.
Would we let our kids come up with that? Like, no, I won't judge you by what comes out of your mouth. I'm going to try and figure out what's in your heart on this one. No, you say something dumb, you're going to get in trouble for it. But that's not going to work for a 71-year-old man. And by the way, the things that apparently have been in his heart here, we learned some pretty gross stuff in the last year and a half.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kellyanne Conway being put in the position of having to dance around these things, it's got to be tough. And
we keep hearing this line of argument,
She does
though.
a very good job.
Don't take him literally,
Don't
whatever
take him
else.
literally.
He's the president.
And the ironic thing about that, let's not forget, is part of what he was selling to voters is that unlike previous politicians and presidents, he calls it like he sees it. He says what's in his heart, and he says it out, and there's no filter.
Until we
and
don't
now
like
all
it.
of a sudden he's got his own spokesperson saying he is filtered.
All right, coming up next here, closer to home, Indian Point Nuclear Power Plant. It's closing in a few years. Governor Cuomo trying to take credit for it, but what is the owner of the plant saying? Again, this is a plant with 20 million people within a 50-mile radius. Stay with us.